Welcome to the super fun game review podcast. Go Mega Ultra Between Review Show. Down.
MUBRS.
MUBRS. Welcome to MUBRS.
MUBRS.
Let's dive into a little bit of the Xbox news recently. They did their game showcase and they kind of like propped up all of these games, and then the biggest one being Halo Infinite, and then like
Epic fail.
What was it?
Pushed back to
Two
2021.
days later, they were like, "Oh yeah, we're not hitting the launch window."
No, that's
delayed it until 2021.
Which I know we're pretty PlayStation biased, but I do feel bad for the Xbox consumers. I mean, that's a blow. It really is.
I mean, I was looking forward to it because I'm going to play it on PC because I do like the Halo games, and I've been waiting for a new one that isn't the Master Chief Collection to come out and just see where that is in general. But
I was gonna say, I'll be honest, I don't think I've played a Halo since Halo 2.
Same.
So I have no idea where the series went.
So you mean when we skip school so we can go play Halo 2 on a LAN? Now, Harry.
Paul Tarka.
There we go. That was his name. I remember.
Maybe it was his house.
Yeah.
He had the fucking mansion, made us all look like the fucking poorest people ever.
No, that's not wrong. Although I will say, like, his mom, when she came home, she was like, "What is everybody doing here? Oh, I need to feed everybody." It's like, "Are you hungry?" That was like the first thing she asked.
Yeah.
Like, "Are you hungry?" I'm like, "Oh, you were like the best babushka ever." It's like, "Thank you so much."
You're about to feed 25 teenagers. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, hey, she was there and ready for it. He's like, "Oh, well, I have so many guests, so I need to feed them," and she did, and it was fucking good.
Why aren't you in school?
Yeah, no, not the
people in my house. I need
questions.
to feed them.
Asking why you weren't in school was a losing battle anyway. That's just easily skipped.
Yeah, that was already determined. It's like, oh well, they're here.
You can get away with it so well. You could just walk out in the middle of the day.
Which we did that too. Oh, we did. No, I do feel bad for the ones who were very excited for getting the title at launch, which, is supposedly around November, but, to have that pushed back by another 6 months at least. But at least they're not just going to throw out what they have. It'll be done when it's done, and then be happy with the product.
And that was the problem with the Master Chief Collection, is they pushed out what they had, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, we're still working on like the multiplayer for all of the Halo games," and like it's like, what the fuck? Like, you can't push out a fucking Halo game and not have like full multiplayer for all of the games that are going to be in it. Like, that's stupid. It's counterproductive to what everyone wants out of the Halo games, really.
I mean, you have a few that may want the campaign, but I mean, really, when it comes down to it, it's all about the multiplayer.
I think about the only thing that I really saw on the Xbox side of things that I was even excited for, other than Halo Infinite, was the State of Decay 3. Yeah, that'll be awesome. Like, I look forward to. I'll actually pick that up probably when it comes out, or whenever Harry decides to get it, and we'll play through that. We still got to play through more of 2 together, Harry. That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. But no, I'm like, I sunk a lot of time into State of Decay 2, so very hyped for State of Decay 3. I read some things in the like the general direction they want to go with it, but we'll see what the finished product looks like. I don't want to speculate on what they're gonna do with the game at this point.
Well, I mean, that's all there is to do right now, is speculate about, like, what you could want or what. Like, I haven't really looked into it much. Like, go for it. Tell me what you've been reading.
Well, I do know they want to make it kind of like, I don't know too many games along this, but like where everybody has like their own camps in the same world, but then it's like kind of persistent world where you could kind of get wrecked when you're logged off by other players and then just kind of
Oh,
show
like
up with,
DayZ almost.
I don't know. I didn't play DayZ.
Okay, yeah, DayZ is actually kind of like that.
Okay. I think this is going to have more of like an MMO feel to it in general, not just log on, log off, play your campaign however you want. It's going to be, I think, a little bit more interactive with like clans and stuff like that. And according to the trailer, which they kind of teased, there's going to be like zombie animals in the series as of this title. I know in the trailer that they have released so far, she's like walking up to a road and then this zombified deer is just like staring her down with like the red eyes and everything.
That's cool. I could get down with a few more elements of enemies in that.
That could go either way, in my opinion. It could be either like really kind of cool if they just kind of like sprinkle it in, but if it's like a heavy element to the game, I think is going to kind of take away from the experience.
Yeah, I could totally see that. It would be interesting if they used it as almost like hey, there's really good loot here in this area, but also it happens to be a forest that has a bunch of bears in it. So like there'll be some bears that are living and some bears that are like, if they're going to pull in an entire wildlife, that's interesting. Like if you could hunt like, non-zombified deer for food sources, that would be awesome. Like I think that would be like a great little addition to that game, especially, with the structure of the game as is, where you're kind of collecting supplies for your camp and it's like a generalized like, oh, I'm bringing back food, like, you know what I mean? Like it would be kind of cool to like go kill a deer, skin it, bring it back, and like, oh, there's like 3 food for your camp.
Now, what I have noticed just as a trend, like the things that I think were heavily criticized in the first State of Decay, they kind of fixed a lot of those things for the second game. The only really big pushback on the second game, which I did a lot of reading, is how people were capped on their camp sizes. Like they had like a hard lock of 12 people in your camp, and a lot of people were like, no, I want to recruit like in the first game, get up to like 30, 40 people in your camp. So something tells me they're going to kind of backtrack a little bit and allow you to build those big camps again.
I wonder if they'll go down the route of allowing you to like maintain 2 camps, or like actually set people up in a realistic scenario that like you can set up like, oh, here's my scavenger team and they're going to go out and like scavenge food and stuff like that. Like
I think they're going to kind of work it into like, you know how like you have your outposts where I think you can like assign people to certain outposts to like kind of keep watch and like have those characters ready to switch out at outposts and stuff like that, which that would kind of be cool. That kind of expands, maybe not like a full second base, but like mini bases in addition to your main base.
Yeah, that would be cool. Like forward operating bases and shit like that. Like it would be kind of interesting to see.
Now, Harry, are you going to try to play that on the PC, or are you thinking about getting the next series of Xbox that comes out?
I'd probably get it on PC.
Okay.
I have a feeling I don't know if my computer could run next gen level. I don't know how like that incorporates into PC. Would that be like next gen PC? Is that what it would be considered?
You wouldn't be able to run it on your PC currently.
Then fuck it, I'll get a new graphics card again. And then I'll grab Joe to install it for me from the get-go this time.
Hey, you know what? Now you have 2 guys. I also have done some computing in my time.
Well,
within
3.
a week. 3. All right, slut.
Don't forget, cunt, I actually work in IT. Like, I build computers all the fucking time.
All right, well, that's software. That's not hardware. Again,
I just said I build computers all the time.
Yeah, anybody.
Somebody's ear canals aren't working that good.
Inferior. Well, I can't wear headphones. It hurts my head.
Yeah, ear infections as an adult fucking sucks.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
sure it
turn it
does. Do better.
Don't get old, children, listening to this podcast. Don't get old.
Yeah, and if you're a child, please just turn off the podcast. Don't listen to it. Who are you? Are you 13?
I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, like, it actually makes me feel better, but I mean, we touched on it on a MUBRS back in February or something like that. But in looking at some stuff for this upcoming Xbox, there are 0 games that are console exclusives, which is mind-boggling to me. And it's like, I don't like anybody that has anywhere of a decent PC is not going to get an Xbox.
No, and
There's no reason to.
a really good point that Clark brought up in the most recent podcast we did together. It's like anything that you could get on the new Xbox and with the Game Pass, you can get on PC as long as you have something that runs it. So if you have a PC that's good enough, why would you get an Xbox by this point?
They're going after the console gamer though market. Like I still get that. Like my nephew is an Xbox player. He doesn't, have a computer. Like he's just gonna get another console. And there's tons of people that are just like that. They have a a netbook or a shitty laptop, God forbid a Mac that you can't play games on. And they're just gonna get consoles. Like that's just the way it is. And like I get that part, but even on top of that, like looking at games that are coming out next gen, there were so few that weren't already coming out for Xbox One that I was just like, or already PlayStation.
Well, I thought a big selling point with Xbox going forward that if you buy a game for the Xbox console, don't you get a copy for the PC for free?
Only if you buy it digitally. So I bought Gears of War 4 digitally for my Xbox One. And when I signed into the Xbox app on my PC, it was just like, hey, do you want to download this? And I was like, fuck yeah.
So I think there's a certain convenience factor there where if you want to hop between, I really want to play on the computer or I really just kind of want to sit on the couch, play on the console, I think they have that kind of going for them in a certain way. And I know kind of digital is, I think, getting a bigger push now more than ever, given the quarantine and certain circumstances. But I think if they lay into that a little bit, I think they could kind of really work that to their advantage.
As a company, I think they could if they make it cross-platform between Xbox and PC. They could get money on both ends.
Now, Clark, with your experience with that, does the save file transfer freely between PC and the console?
Only if the developers have enabled cross-saving.
Okay.
It's very rare.
Is it?
Right. It's actually a lot more rare than you would hope.
I imagine everything would be attached to the gamer tag. Because
No.
It's like so thinking something like Ubisoft. I mean, it's like I would imagine cross-platform. I'm not sure, but if you have like one account that you can use for anything, logging in PC, Xbox, PlayStation, that you can bring everything back up, I'm not sure.
All right, I'll use Ubisoft as an example. All right, so I have my Ubisoft account on PC for The Division and Rainbow Six Siege. Both games I played on PS4. Same account and everything. Now, everything that I unlocked in the Ubisoft store is there. Like any of like the, clothing and that kind of stuff that I've unlocked.
What you spent your Ubisoft points on.
Yeah. Anything that I've spent on in their like marketplace. However, game progress, none of that stuff is tied to your account. It's tied to, the PlayStation itself or something like that. Now, to that end of what Harry was saying about, if I want to play it on my PC, if someone else is using the TV, or if I want to play it on my console, you can actually do that a lot easier with PlayStation Remote Play than you can with how Microsoft has it set up. I can just boot it up and I'm just essentially streaming from my PlayStation to my PC. So I'm playing the same game. The save is already there. And if I want to talk to my PC friends, I can. And if there's crossplay, which is something that's like a bigger push, we can talk and play games together.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting in that regard, but I really think that owning a PlayStation 5 and owning a PC is the way to go, unless, you know, Xbox and Microsoft are going to say like, oh, here we're going to, you know, make sure that cross save is a like a mandatory thing for all of our games, which they probably won't do because a lot of developers don't have any interest in developing for PC like that.
Right.
So like the first party games, a lot of them you'll see that happen, but also like if it's a first party game, it's already on Game Pass and it's already on PC anyway. Something that I thought was kind of interesting about their release in general actually was they were like, oh yeah, all of our launch titles day one are going to be on Game Pass. And it's like, okay, so if I have Game Pass for Xbox or if I have Game Pass for PC, I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to spend an additional $500-$600, whatever the console is going to cost. And I can just wait until midnight and start playing all of those games.
And then you have everything right there.
Right.
Do you look at the only confirmed games for launch?
No, I don't think they have a conclusive list yet, do they?
Yeah, the only confirmed games for Xbox at launch are Fortnite, which no shit,
Okay.
Sure.
and Yakuza, which already came out on PS4 in Japan last year.
Oh, I'm surprised you didn't throw
So
GTA in there too, because that's banned.
Nope. GTA is not available until 2021 on Xbox.
No shit.
There's only those two games?
Yeah.
At launch?
Oh my
God.
They're the only ones that are Xbox Series X or PC at launch. Everything else is Xbox One still. And those two games aren't even new games. Like they're just getting ported to Xbox, but not Xbox One. Even though Fortnite's already on Xbox One. Like so that's why I don't even really understand why that one's even on the list.
Why did they make an announcement then? If they're like, hey, I got this thing, and then they have nothing else to say.
It sounds like it's like they need something
it was supposed to be
throw out
Halo.
there.
Yeah.
And then that's, you know,
they jumped the gun though.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of like that happens in the gaming community a lot. People jump the gun before things are like a definite. Because like how many times have you heard, oh, gotta delay this release, even though they're saying, hey, this month, this year, it's coming out. Hey, this month, this year, this game's coming out. It's just I don't know. I think people want to make announcements way too soon in the gaming community as a whole.
Well, I mean, it's a big pissing contest where it's like, oh, I'm doing this one. Oh, okay, I see this and I raise you this, and then it just goes back and forth. And then there's the juggernaut that you depend on, like Xbox did for Halo, and then they say, oh, well, you know what? It's not going to actually be complete until 2021. So you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. And then they're sitting there and just holding their dick in their hand. And it's like, oh, fuck, what do I do with this? Do I just kind of like jiggle it a little bit? What can I do?
But when I announce that I'm going to piss Steve, I don't shit my pants.
Are you sure?
You never pissed in a toilet and you felt a little nudge? Like, maybe I should sit down.
You're just standing there and it's like, I gotta piss. Oh, shit my pants. Oh, fuck. It just what? It fills up your pants? Is what you said?
That's it.
Poopy pants.
The announcing thing doesn't bother me. Like, as somebody who works in software development, like, I get it. Like, it takes like 3 years to like develop a game, like a decent game, right? And then like you have to like guess on when it's available, and you're not gonna finish it 6 months before you launch it. Like that's just dumb, right? As soon as it's done, you need to start making money back on it because otherwise you're just sitting on it.
Right.
So they're gonna announce it, and delays happen. Like it's just a fact. And I'd rather have a company come out and be like, "Yep, gotta delay it," than release super broken games, which happens more often.
Right. I mean, I'll give them credit where credit's due and say, instead of just, hey, here it is, we'll just give it to you. It's, you know, at least they're waiting to give the consumer a good product instead of, you know, bullshit and saying, "Oh, we'll fix it in a patch." Because
Yeah, and they're not like, oh, you get the first 80% of the game, like we'll patch in the last few missions like when we're ready. Oh, I just double checked why Fortnite is considered launching on the new Xbox. Because they're upgrading it to the new Unreal Engine.
oh, fun. Okay,
So it's the
so
same game, it's just yeah.
All in. I'm gonna be a professional Fortnite player.
shit, you heard it here, people. Clark is just gonna be a little Fortnite F.
You better work on your squeak there.
Yeah. It's like, get your re-scream going, because that's just, it's terrible. I mean, it's the same thing where it's like, if we go back a few weeks when we were talking about the PlayStation, like press release for what's coming up for PS5, and you see like Grand Theft Auto again. I mean, good for them, for Rockstar, for spanning like 3 generations of consoles. Good, good on you. But at the same time, is that really going to be like a selling point because you can just find it for cheaper without spending $500 for a brand new fucking system? It's like that. That's just, uh, I don't want to say infuriating, but I got upset at that. I'm like,
Just consider it a
really?
pack in.
Yeah. I mean, it's
You're
like,
not buying it for that. That's just like you know what I mean? It's just a pack in.
yeah.
I think a lot of the live games like that, like Grand Theft Auto 5 and Rainbow Six Siege and
I bet you Dead by Daylight makes the jump.
right, yeah, Dead by Daylight, like a lot of those companies are getting out there so that people know, hey, we are going to make the jump. You're not going to have to pay additional money for this jump. And
Is that something that's legitimate where
Yeah.
you're not going to have to pay going from like PS4 to PS5? Because
Some games.
I was slighted on, I feel like, Grand Theft Auto. I had it for PS3 and built everything up. I know you can transfer your online data, but only within a certain window. Like, am I going to have to pay for the upgrade? I already paid for the fucking game in the first place. Why do it again?
I
Yeah.
mean, you could just play it on PC and not have to worry about it.
Well, I can now, damn it. But still, I mean, that's something that's a little aggravating. It's like, I already gave you this amount of money to buy the game, and then whatever upgrades and purchases, I made it. And they'll just give you a window. Oh, well, if you want to upgrade to the new system, um, buy the game, so another $60, and then make sure that you can transfer all your stuff within this window. And if you don't, fuck you, you missed out. I think that's a dick move.
Yeah. I mean, like, ironically enough, I had an article come across my Google newsfeed today that was about the game Control and how they specifically said, no, you're not getting it ported forward unless you buy the new Ultimate Edition of the game.
Huh.
And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it's so fucking dumb.
So let's switch topics a little bit. Have you guys been playing anything new or different, non-podcast related?
Fall Guys. That's it.
Yeah, I've been playing Fall Guys. I checked out the New World beta a couple weeks ago. They had like a server stress test, basically.
Okay. How was that?
Um, I had to sign an NDA, and I'll be able to talk about it at the end of the month, though.
So at least your experience with it, not anything specifically game related. How do you feel?
It was good. I mean, I only had like a day to play.
Okay.
I have some thoughts on it as well because I played it as well, and I will talk about those at a later date.
And then Star Wars: The Old Republic got released on Steam, so and everybody has always like talked about how, like, I mean, it's an MMO, but the story development in MMOs is usually just trash. Like, 99% of players just skip through it anyway.
Right.
But this game was always touted as like the story for each character was, really good character development and like something that you should actually play for the story and happens to be an MMO.
So did you actually play the story?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Oh, okay.
It's enjoyable. I put like 20 hours into it so far.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely enjoying it. I mean, it's not old school MMO combat, but it's, your wows of the world type combat, right? With your hotbars and everything like that. But it's enjoyable. I really dig it.
Yeah, like is that good? Like I played quite a few hours of it back in the day. When Harry and I lived together, I was playing it. So like the new one's good. Like, would you suggest checking it out?
It's not the new one. It's just they
Well,
don't have their own launcher anymore, and it's through Steam.
right, that's what I'm saying. New is so fucking subjective now in terms of gaming because of all the fucking remasters and stuff. Like, it's the newest version of it, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's good. I mean, obviously, graphics aren't going to blow your socks off. I mean, it's from 2011, I think it was when it was released.
Well, that's good. I really like my socks.
But yeah, I mean, it's enjoyable. Like I said, the story so far is good. I definitely want to check out some of the other classes' character development because it is a class-based game as well with your healer, DD, tank kind of roles.
What class did you start as?
I'm a healer. But each character you can pick what type of class they are and stuff like that. But and the story you can play solo as well, so you don't like have to do group dungeons and stuff like that if you're not into that.
Harry, you been playing anything? I know we've been playing some Dead by Daylight together.
Yeah, a little bit of that. I'm still having a blast with that game. It's a lot of fun. I know a couple of our friends fell off in the friend group, but I still find a lot of enjoyment with it. I just pick up, play a couple matches, and log off for the night. Playing more Survivor this time around. I typically have in the past played maybe like 80% of my time in the game as the killer, but it's kind of flopped. I think 80% of my time is now the survivor. So
is that because you're playing with other people more frequently?
Exactly. And I'm not really playing single player as the killer currently. I'm usually playing something else or not at all. So but no, it's been good.
Yeah, that's a game that like drew me right back in. Like I picked it up probably like 2 months ago and started playing it again and was just like, man, I don't know why I ever left. And then like I sat in a lobby waiting for a game for 15 minutes and was like, oh fucking yeah, that's right.
This is why.
I forgot. Yeah. The matchmaking is still pretty atrocious in that game, but when you are playing, it is a lot of fun.
Did you pick it back up after they came out with Pyramid Head as a villain?
That's what got me.
Yep. Yeah, that's what brought me back. They put it what was interesting was they've done licensed killers for pretty much all of their anniversaries. So they were like, boom, 4th anniversary, Pyramid Head, Cheryl Mason, and the Middlewich School. And then immediately like a week later, they were like, boom, 4th anniversary, double blood points, all this extra blood point earning stuff. And
oh, nice to level up those new characters and stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's great planning by their live team to kind of coincide with stuff like that.
Like Diablo's season is coming up to an end here, and they just like enabled like double rewards for like bounties and stuff like that to try and like, because a lot of people only play like the first 5 or 6 weeks of a season and then population really dies out, so they like kicked this in to bring people back, kind of finish out the season. Yeah, it's nice when developers do like things like that where they're like, hey, like here's this new content and like here's this additional bonus to like keep you interested, or like whatever, just make it even that much better.
Now, didn't they get into some hot water with like Jason Voorhees and like some sort of lawsuit for that?
No, that was the Friday the 13th game.
Oh, okay.
Which was also fun, but they pretty much got a cease and desist on all new content. They were allowed to continue making the game, but they couldn't put any new Jason content out there, and it pretty much ostensibly killed the game. There's still like a pretty big cult following for that game, but
it comes up on my Steam fucking like suggested list all the time.
I mean, it was fun. Like it like when you would get into a game, especially with like friends and stuff, and you're just all around the camp. Yeah, like when you guys are like all around the camp and like you're completely scattered out and everyone's kind of like trying to do separate things to like restore power and make it so that like the cops show up so that you can get out. It's really like a fun, interesting type of game. And you can like take Jason out, which is also really interesting.
Okay. Well, I would imagine that's pretty important to be able to do that.
It's very difficult. Like you have to like one person has to die and bring in a certain character. I forget his name. Tommy? I don't know. It's like the first person to ever killed Jason in the movies. But you have to like bring him in and you have to like beat him down with like a bunch of stuff, and then you have to like shoot his face mask off with a shotgun that you can only get with this one character because he like brings it in because he's like the hero. And then like you can kill him, and then I think it's like you get 10 minutes to fucking escape.
You know, the way that they did their lobbies in Friday the 13th, Dead by Daylight could learn something from that.
Very
Just
true.
where you have all 5 people in the lobby and you just like pick a character and pick a killer, and you don't know who's going to get populated as the killer.
Yes.
I think that should be the future of Dead by Daylight.
Like
You
just
know
keep
how
it
many
more
people
random.
would just force quit as soon as they weren't what they wanted to be.
I don't know what those stats look like. I don't.
Typically games that are like that. I mean, remember playing Apex when like you would pick Lifeline and then like the next person would just leave because they didn't get to pick Lifeline?
Yeah. I mean, obviously,
It's
I
the
mean, a
same
lot of
thing.
games have incorporated like bans on play, like not perma
Yeah,
bans, but like,
penalties. Yeah.
yeah. I think that's the best and healthiest way to get around that.
Yeah, if there was a penalty, you could get away with something like that, but people still get butthurt.
Yeah, you're going to get that anywhere.
Yeah, butthurt.
The only other thing that I've been playing Fall Guys. I think I've played with everyone in here. I've been playing a lot of Ghost of Tsushima, and that game is fucking incredible.
Yeah?
Yeah, oh yeah. Like it is just okay, so there's like a little bit of elements of Assassin's Creed in it where there's like assassinations and stuff, but you don't need to play the game that way. It doesn't like really force you into it. It's a lot more in depth with like the sword play. You can like switch stances like mid fight, and you're actually expected to because there's like different enemy types and you kind of want to like switch to a different sword stance that allows you to gain an advantage on them.
Okay.
And it's a lot of like staggering enemies and breaking them down so that they kind of get staggered, and then you're able to kill them like really quickly. And there's definitely tons of times where you're like there's 3 archers around you and there's 6 guys in your face, and it gets really like tense.
Do you have a game you would compare it to? Or is
Sounds like
it
For Honor.
kind of like a mix?
So it's like Assassin's Creed and For Honor, but with the open world elements of something like Infamous or Far Cry. Where
Okay.
it's not an annoying open world, in my opinion. There's tons of stuff to do, but it's not like super overwhelming, and it allows you to, if you find an area, fast travel to it rather quickly. And like one thing I have to say, and it's just an absolute like technical marvel at the end of like this game is fucking gorgeous. It's probably the best looking game that I've seen on the generation. So there's the initial like minute and a half, 2 minutes loading into the game. But when you go to fast travel, it fast travels you in like 10 seconds.
Oh, that's pretty key
It's
right there.
It's impressive. It shocks me because like most of the time you fast travel and you go through that whole like minute and a half load again. This will pinpoint you, get you where you need to go, and like you could spawn and then off in the distance you can just see like Mongols like roaming around, and like you can run up to them and you can like sneak in and like try to kill them through the bushes, or you can walk right up to them and like it's called a standoff. You can like march up to them like a samurai would and be like, send out your best fighter, and like you'll sit there and like it's like a timed like you have to strike as they're about to strike you, and then you'll just insta kill them, and you can like level that up so you can get like 3 of them before you fight with everybody else. It's a really
So
impressive. It's
kind of
such an impressive game.
like a diplomatic approach where
Yeah,
it's like, okay, well, it's you give me yours, I'm here. Let's do this right now.
yeah. It's just
Huh.
it's really cool. Like I really I enjoy like you can like level up all your different like weapons and items and things like that, and um it's
So
just
it's pretty expansive, like what you can actually do and customize and whatnot.
absolutely. And the story's actually really interesting. It's literally about the Mongols invading Japan and like you kind of like fighting them off. You pretty much just lose a battle at the beginning and you're like full-blown samurai, and then you meet a thief and the thief is like, look, you need to evolve because all the samurai are going to die if you try to fight like their guerrilla tactics just being a samurai, because you'll just
So
get ganged up on.
you're Tom Cruise, the Last Samurai.
No, like nothing that like corny, but like
It's gonna be a fucking L. Ron Hubbard fucking reference at the end.
It's gonna come all around. It's like, oh, here's Xenu. Urgh, I'm your overlord.
they
Fuck off.
like they kind of
Kill
nail
yourself
that
in transition.
like point right in the beginning, because there is a samurai that walks up to the army and is like, come on, send out your best fighter, and their best fighter walks out, spits a bunch of alcohol on the guy, and then throws a torch at him and just
Oh,
lights the samurai dude on fire, and they're
some
like,
Oh, there you go.
it's just like, okay, cool, so the Mongols have no honor and they will fight just to kill, not for honor and stuff like that. It's an impressive game.
Definitely have to check that out. I'll put it on the list. It's my list is growing.
So, does anyone else have anything else to say?
Did I?
Excited for Tony Hawk on Friday.
Yeah, you
Wait,
have to
what?
tell us about it, Joe.
The demo comes out on Friday if you pre-order.
Oh, I'm gonna have to pre-order. I need this.
I'm kind of I know you guys haven't beaten it yet, but I still am hoping for one of you guys to beat The Last of Us 2 so I could talk about it with somebody.
Yeah, you keep holding on to that. Have not even started it.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
It's one of those games I'm picking at.
okay.
Like it's not that I don't want to just like finish it, but like I just been kind of letting Amanda Bogart the TV for a while.
Okay. Fair enough.
I just been wanting to play, but this damn podcast keeps getting in the way. Gotta put your mind to something else.
Do you have the disc version of it, Harry?
No.
You bought it digitally?
Yeah, I really haven't been out to too many stores
That's
since
fair.
the whole quarantine, so I'm not a huge digital guy. I love owning the hard copy, but I'm just like, it's not worth it right now. So
That's fair.
I work at a Rite Aid. Going to GameStop is not worth it.
yeah, I know.
I work in retail all
There's
day.
enough risk where I have to work,
Yeah,
not incur anymore.
let alone any simps that are working in GameStop, and it's like, oh, do you like this game? Oh, this is really good. Have you seen Ellie? It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Creep. Creeps. I'm calling it out now. If you're that guy, you're not a nice guy. You're just a fucking creep. Cut it in.
Radiohead up in this bitch.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, anything else, gentlemen?
No, not a whole lot other than building my PC last week. That was fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. You have to hit me up when you're going to play some Counter-Strike.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
for sure.
Yeah,
I went in on that as well.
If we're talking games played, I think pretty much the first couple days once I got the PC up and running. I'm like, all right, let's see how it does compared to what I'm used to. So played some Diablo 3, which it ran so smooth. I'm like, hello, Mr. Fisticuffs. Let's go again. And then some CSGO. And I mean, that is another learning curve again to work around, because there's like, like I remember old Dust and old Assault and Office, and everything is completely different by this point. I'm like, I have no idea where the fuck I'm going. So let's try to figure it out. I mean, it's not like anybody else is going to be very accommodating to my learning curve. So jump in and go. If anything, I'll go CT all the way so I can get an AUG, and it still has like a laser focus. So yeah, hop on some CS:GO and make sure you're a counter terrorist. Play those.
All right, guys. Let's wrap it up here. Oh, I real quick, actually. I want to give a special shout out to Deep Creek Glassworks. You'll have heard the ad already, but like legitimately, I contacted them and they made me 2 amazing beer glasses and like legitimate price, like legitimate product. Check them out.
Yeah,
Should
I
put it up on
can.
the Instagram.
Oh yeah, take a couple pictures. I'm sure he'll like that.
For sure, for sure.
I mean, because by this point, it's Deep Creek is ran by Tanner and Alexis, and Tanner's like your glass man. So, and he used to have an apprentice, and he's doing his own thing now. So now it's all on like Tanner. So it's the product he puts out, it's awesome, and not speaking from a biased standpoint, even though it's maybe a little biased, but whatever. It's still good.
All right, guys. Well, we will see you in 2 weeks for our review of Control. Control. And we will see you then. Stay lovely.
Stay sexy.
Love you guys.
Stay safe.